Good evening to everybody here. This is Mishmar Night Shir. Ahavas Shalom, we have Mishmar Night every few weeks, Thursday night. And here we are in a special Shir. And the evening is sponsored by our dear friend, Rabbeinu Peretz over here. I'm sorry about the background noise. I'll try and overcome the noise. The topic of today's Shir, the title is Torah and Mitzvahs or Torah versus Mitzvahs. So the title is really more catchy than the shir itself, I must admit. It's not about Torah versus mitzvahs. It's more like what's more important, learning Torah or performing mitzvahs, other mitzvahs other than Torah. What's more important, to learn or actually to fulfill and to do? So let's go. This year was inspired by a piece of Gemara that we learned some time ago in Yom Yomi. We learned a piece of Gemara, and I said there's a lot to elaborate on that piece of Gemara. And then one of the people sitting here said, is there a lot to elaborate? So give us an entire shir. So here I am, following your advice and, fulfilling your wishes. Okay, let's go. Imagine yourselves that they have the good husband competition in the neighborhood. Yeah, they run the good husband competition, and, some people apply, and they get interviewed, and there's a committee. The best husband is going to get prizes, money, promises that his mother-in-law will not show up at the doorstep for the entire year, whatever, good food, whatever a man needs, whatever, a ticket to the country club, whatever. Yeah, the good husband is going to get it good. And the husbands apply. And one husband says, I'm a very good husband. I can vouch for myself. I work very hard. I make a very nice living. Look, we even go on holiday. I come home. The house is messy, and really messy. I don't mean the football star. And I don't say anything. Not only don't say anything, I clean up the house. I'm such a nice man, and therefore I deserve the crown. I should go first place. I'm a really nice husband. I support, and I come back home really tired, zonked, and I still clean up the house. Very nice. So would you give him the prize or no? No, you say no. How do we know if he's really a good husband or not? Who decide whether he's a good husband or not a good husband? Who should be interviewed in general? Who? We have wise men here. The wife. The wife. Well, because he's not a Tana. So basically, this man, his wife would come to the interview room, and she will say, when he's out of earshot, that he, excuse my language, stinks. He insults me. It's true, he cleans up the house. Very nice. Nice that he goes on holiday. He doesn't care about me. Doesn't give me attention. He forgot my birthday. Lav deoraisa, gimel leveres chamuras. No flowers there for Shabbos. V'chulei. Smartphone. That's science fiction. No men are addicted to the iPhone. It's time. I'm inventing things. Yeah, I'm really getting wild here with my imagination. Yeah, the kids are. So he lost the crown, and he's not going to make it first place. Because the one who's going to decide whether you're a good husband or not, is your wife. Yeah, that's a litmus test. There's hope. Maybe they can work on their marriage. But Lamais, at the end of the day, the one to decide is not necessarily the person who feels connected to his wife. The question is, she is the recipient. Does she feel connected to you? This is not a Shalom Bayis workshop, by the way. You don't have to run away. I can see people running away. No. It's just a mashal. It's just a mashal. It's just an idea to get to the point that we're trying to get to. And I'll tell you straight away what is the nimshal, what I'm trying to get to. I'll tell you straight away, and then we'll elaborate and go back to the mashal. Basically, when a person feels close to Hashem, is that really so? When we say "Vani kirvas Elokim li toiv," and people, Baruch Hashem, in the Frum Tzibur, we live in a very nice Tzibur. I love the Tzibur I live in. And my question is, when we say you should feel close to Hashem, I feel close to Hashem, first of all, what does it mean? And secondly, when a person says, I feel close to Hashem, is he the one to decide whether he's close to Hashem? Is it true or is it fake? I think the one that will decide whether you're close to him or not is Hashem himself. Just like the husband in the story, his wife is too nice to tell him. That husband, his wife never opened up to him and told him the problems. The guy lives under real illusion for, 10 years or so, that he's really good husband, because she never spoke. Like Hashem doesn't always talk to us directly, unless you're in a very high level. There's a baskol. So to know whether you're close to Hashem or not, the one to decide is HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I'm going to quote here a lot of statements from the Gro, and usually I use the more Litvish Chronim, but punkt, yesterday, maybe 2 days ago, I stood by one of these stands where they sell Sforim, Bloy, you have a lot of Sforim on display, and you can, usually I flip and I don't usually buy this Sforim, but I have a look here and there. And there was a sefer by the Baal Shem Tov. Let's give the Baal Shem Tov some, give some makom shel kavod. The Baal Shem Tov, again, I don't know what's the context. I saw one line. He said, sometimes the person who feels very close to Hashem is really far from Hashem, and the one who feels far from Hashem is really the closest. Very interesting saying. Yeah. In other words, just because you feel something nice and mushy inside and feel kirvas Elokim, it doesn't mean you're actually close to Hashem. It's not just it's not just an emotion thermometer. Being close to Hashem is something real, something we live for. And we have to know, are we really there? And what is the real parameter? What's the real indicator? And the one to decide that is just the one above. Let's get to a further point, as opposed to the woman where, in our mashal, they're going to go to a shrink, a counselor, shalom baismach, a mediator, he'll be nice to her, buy her flowers, all will be well. Now, imagine yourself, the two of them, they like to do together something not so good. I don't know. They like to do something violent, a bittul Torah, or something bad. Yeah. So lemaisa, their shalom bais is not affected. In other words, if they both like something or dislike something, even if that thing is not necessarily good, between them, they're in shalom, right? But when it comes to Kodesh Baruch Hu, it's even harder, because what I think, I feel close to Hashem, and I think I'm doing the right thing. Still, by Kodesh Baruch Hu, it's not a subjective thing. There's an objective truth over here. HaKadosh Baruch Hu himself. You're trying to create a relationship with a being that you have no idea who he is, the Kodesh Baruch Hu. We know Hashem's outcomes and Hashem's creation and Hashem's Torah. We try to know. We don't know what Hashem is really. It's a bit hard to have such relationship. And secondly, we can't just decide, okay, my wife and I both like to go on a tiul for a month without davening and without this, because we both enjoy it. You may have a lot of shalom bayis. Sometimes all people go off the derech together, couples, they have good shalom bayis, but they're doing the wrong thing. But the Kodesh Baruch Hu, you can't have that. You have to have a real truth. You can't say, I feel good, and therefore I'm close to Hashem. It's not up to you. It's not like both of you like the same flavor of ice cream, and so you're good. Yet there is a certain objective, real, essential truth here that you have to live by, and that is what Hashem wants from you. She wants flowers. Lahavdil, Hashem wants something. What is it that Hashem wants from us that would create kirvas Elokim? So we're going to say, okay, who am I talking to? Reform people? Torah, mitzvahs, tefillah, these things, you get you close to Hashem. Generally, that's true. That's generally true. Now, again, I'm asking the question of the title, the catchy title, which Baruch Hashem, Torah and mitzvahs. What happens when sometimes it's Torah versus mitzvahs? In other words, sometimes we have different values in Yiddishkeit. There's Torah, there's Tefillah, Chesed, other mitzvahs. Which comes first? It's not a halacha shir, by the way. There are halachic ramifications from what I'm saying, but it's not a halacha shir. The question is, which comes first? Let's say in that competition, sometimes there's a competition. I sit and learn Torah, let's say, and somebody needs my help. Shall I close the sefer and help my my neighbor's second cousin's grandmother do her shopping, 2 towns away, and close my Gemara, or no? The answer to that is quite simple, but we have to understand the hashkafa here. So let us quote the Mishnah in Maseches Avos, and that Mishnah always makes me feel a bit, unclear and not so easy. I have to admit, I love learning, Baruch Hashem. I'd like to learn more, but that Mishnah always seems a little bit harsh to me, and I have to come to terms with it. The Mishnah says, Rabbi Shimon Omer, Mishnah in Avos, Per Gimel, Mishnah Zayin. I have it all in writing. Rabbi Shimon Omer, Amalech Baderech V'Shoine. A person is walking on his way, or today would be riding on a train maybe, and he's shoine, he's learning. That's very good. Lech techa baderech. V'mafsik mishnasoi, and all of a sudden he stops learning. V'omer, and he says, Ma no ilan zeh, ma no enir zeh. How beautiful is this tree? Wow. How beautiful is this farrow, the field? Yeah. It's considered as if he's mischai benafshoy. There's a lot of interesting pshatim, but the pashut pshat is it's almost chayiv misa. It's mischai benafshoy. His soul should be taken away. There are many more politically correct ways to explain it, but I like pshat. Yeah. So that's really harsh. You stopped learning. Yeah. You stopped learning. You looked at the tree. Yeah, and you said, Mano ilan zeh, how beautiful is this tree? That's a very severe thing. Imagine yourself the following scenario. Yeah? Imagine yourself, you're on a boring train ride from Bet Shemesh to the very holy city of Tel Aviv. So holy, you can't see the Kedusha, Mamish very hidden. And you're a good boy, and you turn off your smartphone. Yeah, you have Torah applications there, but you open a Sefer Mishnayos, and the Mishnayos, to be honest, very tedious Mishnayos, very hard to plow through. I'm talking something like Negoim, very technical things, and you're a bit tired, and the text is not really inviting, and all of a sudden you close the Mishnah, and you look at a beautiful scenario, beautiful scene of a Kodesh Baruch Hu himself. Oy, beautiful trees by the sunset, beautiful field, and you say, Marabu Masecha Hashem. You feel so close to Hashem, much more than we learned this Mishnah. This Mishnah is telling me again about, these two birds, the kinim, one flew away, one came back. Doesn't turn me on. And the view, the beautiful sunset, the beautiful trees, I feel much more connected to Hashem. Ooh. Mishnah is telling me, just like that husband, he's telling me, you're in the wrong track. Excuse the pun, yeah? You're in the train, but you're in the wrong direction. Funnily enough, Akash Baruch Hu decided, because he wrote it in the Mishnah, that learning that, so to speak, I shouldn't say boring Mishnah, gets you closer to Hashem than looking at the beauty of the creation itself. How come? What's going on over here? But that's what the Mishnah says. What can I do? Yeah, that's something we have to deal with. That's what we have to deal with. How come Torah is considered something that gets you close to Hashem so much? The Mishnah took it to the extreme. I would say that the most beautiful way to get close to Hashem, look at the creation. And you say, this is beautiful, you're a believing person, yeah? You learned the Mishnah a second ago. And yet somehow learning Torah gets you closer to Hashem than any other thing, even looking at the beauty of the creation. And that is something that we have to understand. We'll try to explore in the next 20 minutes. Okay, we don't have much time. The Mishnah, okay, questions are kind of welcome. Okay. So says the Gemara. It's Rosh Chodesh Tammuz. It has been already Rosh Chodesh Tammuz. I really hope Yud Zayin B'Tammuz will be a big party this year. But we are otherwise facing the 3 weeks. And one of the most powerful Gemaras that explain to us the reasons for the Churban is that Gemara that we learned here some time ago. Amar Vid Amara, the Gemara in the Dorim and also in the Metzia Daf Pehei. The Gemara says, "My dichtiv, what does it mean when it says, Mi ha'ish ha'chacham v'yoven etzois? Who is the wise man that can understand? V'shadiber pi Hashem elov, the one that Hashem spoke to. The Agida alma of the ha'oretz." Yeah, the question that the Novi Yirmiyahu asks. Yeah, they ask the wise people. They ask the Nevi'im, why was the land destroyed? Why was there churban of the land? Everyone exiled. Beis Hamikdash was destroyed. Why? What was the cause? Says the Gemara, Omer Chachami v'lo pirshu. The wisest people didn't know. Omer Nevi'im v'lo pirshu. The prophets did not know. There's a version also the Malachim didn't know. Even the angels didn't know. Why was Beis Hamikdash Harishon, the first Beis Hamikdash, destroyed? Nobody knows. Nobody knows that. So then they ask the Kodesh Baruch Hu himself. If nobody knows, then Hashem knows. He knows everything. Yeah. What did Hashem say? Vayomer Hashem, continuing the pasuk, Al ozvam esterosi asher nasati lifneim. They abandoned, they left the Torah which I gave them. Okay, continues the Gemara as an afterthought, and that's really the main point. Amar Vida Amarav shelo berchu b'Torah tchila. A Beis Hamikdash was destroyed because they did not say Birkas HaTorah. Woke up in the morning, washed their hands, Moida Ani, everything good. I mean, before washing the hands doesn't matter. Whatever they did, everything right. Yeah, hat and jacket, joking. Yeah, whatever they did, all the right things. They learned Torah. They ate the real hechsherim. They davened. One thing they missed. One thing in the Frum curriculum, the Frum schedule, they omitted Birkas HaTorah, and because of that, Beis Hamikdash was destroyed. Okay, that brings many questions to mind. A lot of questions. I'll have mercy on you and just ask some basic questions that Meforshim asked that are automatically. First of all, how do we know? Ozvam Esterosi means I left my Torah, I think, off the derech or complete bittul Torah. How does the Gemara know? Where do we see, denoted in the pasuk that the idea was Birkas HaTorah? Yeah, it says they left the Torah completely. It doesn't say Birkas HaTorah. Second question, why didn't they? Why? Really, why? That's kind of interesting, I know people, they mess up on here and there in the Kiyum and Mitzvahs. People like to round corners. Dafka Birkas Torah. That's not long. Mele Psuka Dezirma, come late to shul. After Shmonesra, you chaparine, you're rushing to work. You don't say Asher Balatzion. Dafka Birkas Torah. That's what that was hurting them. They didn't want to say Birkas Torah. Dafka there. Well, what's the point over here? And also, if they didn't say Birkas Torah, that's quite an easy that's easy target. It's easy to realize what the problem is. Yeah, if I want to know if somebody's from enough or not, you can send a detective, follow him through the day and see what he does, what he doesn't do. So the Nevi'im and the Chachamim didn't know that people just didn't say Birkas Torah. What's so hard to understand here? If that's really from some reason such a terrible thing, why is it only Hashem knew that he didn't say Birkas Torah and nobody else knew? Something here needs a lot of explanation. Explains the Ran in Nedorim. The Ran is the main Perush in Nedorim instead of Rashi. I'm not reading everything. He's asking some of our questions, and he answers like this. They were big Masmidim. They were in Koilel day and night, or they were working and learning half day. They were Oisik B'Torah as much as they could. They knew their stuff. They were really into learning and keeping mitzvahs. So the Nevi'im didn't know what's going on. Everyone's behaving themselves. Everyone's good. Everyone's learning. Everyone's doing mitzvahs. That's why the tmiha, the question, became that much greater. Really, Alma of the Haaretz. What went wrong? What went wrong? Everyone seems to be so good and frum. So what? Don't tell me sinas chinam. That was in the second bias, not the first bias. Yeah. So what's going on over here? That's why it was so hard to understand, because they were learning very well. So then a Kadosh Baruch Hu is the only one, as opposed to Nevi'im or even Malachim. Only Hashem, says the Ran Loshen, which appears in other Rishonim, Hu Yodea Ma'amokei Halev. Only Hashem knows what's deep, deep, deep inside your heart. A person may even feel right, think right, but Hashem knows the nuances better than any psychologist in the world. Hashem knows the very, very nuanced feelings in the inner of subconscious. Hashem knows that, and only He knows that. So what did He know? So what's the big business of Birkas Torah? They said Birkas Torah. Possibly, it doesn't even make a difference. They mumbled Birkas Torah. However, Kloimar, when Rishonim say Kloimar, means there's a deeper layer over here. Shelo hoisa haTorah chashuva be'eineihem. Kol kach sheroi levorech oleho. They did not make the Torah important. Torah was followed. Torah was studied, because it's a really interesting book, the Talmud, and also the Bible. Even Christian people will tell you that, right? And professor universities, they learn it about the Talmud. However, they did not consider the Torah as really important, didn't give it the real importance and weight, and that was a problem that only Hashem knew about. Yeah. That's why they were mezalzel. They basically, how do you say mezalzel? They treated it with disdain. They didn't care about it. Yeah, they gave it. They basically, yeah. They belittled it. They belittled the Torah because it was nice. It was an interesting thing to learn, but it was not more than that. That's what the mezalzel v'hainu loy hol chubo, and that's what it means when it says loy hol chubo. They did not follow the path of the Torah, because, and then he says the real thing, shelo oiskim lishmo. They were learning Torah, but not Torah lishmo. They were learning not for the right reason and not with the right kavana. That was a problem that only Kadosh Baruch Hu knew. So now we understand much better. Now things are getting there. I still have another question, and we're advancing now. My question is, it says in Gemara Yuma, Tes Amud Beis, it says that the reason why Beis HaMikdash Harishon was destroyed, no sinas chinam, they loved everybody, but what was the problem? A tiny little problem called, just a tiny thing called Gimel Averes Chamuras. The three cardinal sins, that's in English. In Beis HaMikdash Harishon, Beis HaMikdash, yeah, the Beis HaMikdash was there, nice and proud and tall and there, and people were involved with killing, they're involved with idol worship, and with, yeah, messing with other people's wives. The Gemara in Shabbos describes terrible things of znus, yeah, Gimel Averes Chamuras. So excuse me, who's talking about Birkas Torah? Are you for real? These people were involved with much, much worse things. They were doing things that no normal frum person today would do, right? And you're talking to me about Birkas Torah and those nuances that they didn't care so much about Torah? Is that what's bothering you? I don't understand. They did much, much worse than that. So then I don't understand. I mean, I understand it's not good not to consider Torah not to give it importance. I understand the Gemara now, fine. But there's much worse issues. So will the real Avera step up, please? Says the tool. I'm not answering this till the end. We're building a building here, if you have enough time. Beautiful, beautiful. If you have the access and the ability, do yourselves a favor. It's a long Shabbos. Read it for yourself. There's a beautiful piece of Bach, the Tur, the Arba Turim, the Tur Or Chaim, Siman Mem Zayin, tells us how important it is to be careful. Birkas HaTorah. Birkas HaTorah, it's not a halacha shir. Birkas HaTorah, lefi many shitas are Doraisa. The only one, the runner-up to Birkas HaMazon, Birkat HaMazon Doraisa. Birkas HaTorah, you should say it with real kavanah for the children, for yourself. It's one of the most important moments in a Jewish person's life. I'm not saying this. People before me said that. And the Tur brings down this Gemara about Birkas HaTorah. Then the Bach, one of the commentaries by the Tur is the Bach. The Bach is Chodesh, will be all circus, is buried in Krakow. And he is the Bach has a beautiful, long, and not very long, but longish piece about our subject, about this Gemara. And he elaborates more than the Bes Yosef. I wish I had time and energy to read and translate the whole thing. I'll just give some excerpts. And he says like this. Why did Hashem give us the Torah to begin with? Why did Hashem command us to learn Torah? It's just in order to know how to be Mekayim the mitzvahs. Says the Bach. Why do we learn Torah? Our hearts, our neshama should be clinging and stuck and clinging to Hashem like that when we learn the Torah. The Bach tells us that the way to get close to Hashem again and be dovek in Hashem is Torah. And now, if they really would have learned Torah with the idea, I'm learning Torah, before they open the Gemara, the coffee in the coffee room, now they're ready to start, the Gemara. They wouldn't have chatted, about whatever the upcoming elections. They would really know, I am now about to connect myself to Hashem himself by learning. Had they had that kavanah, then they would be housing Hashem. I don't know what that means, but it's scary and beautiful. It's keilu, you are Hashem's house. You're the heichal of Hashem. You're the merkava of Hashem. You are letting Hashem live in this world. You are one with the Kadosh Baruch Hu. Also, the Nefesh Chaim says that when you learn Torah, you're one with Hashem. You're with Him in the same house. Don't ask me no graphic details. I don't understand this. However, they messed up. They broke that spiritual law. You know why did they learn Torah? Listen to this, and that's going to shock you, maybe. They learn Torah for their own benefit. What do you think is the Torah's own benefit? To people or I'm learning Torah to be smart. I'm learning Torah because Aramaic is an interesting language. Well, maybe that too. Maybe PhD in Talmud. They have that in Yale or Harvard, maybe. I don't know. In Bar Ilan, wherever, in Ivrit. Says the Bach. You know why they learn Torah? There's people who we view very negatively, and they destroyed the Beis Hamikdash. Leida Hadinim, they wanted to know halacha. Litzorich Maser Matan. They were good Jews. They didn't want to lie. He closes the Gemara. Amud Yom is over. Daf Yom is over. Halacha is over. He wants to know the halacha because he's a good Jew. He wants to be successful in business and be good and successful and good. So he wants to know how not to cheat people. And that's not called Torah Lishma. Sorry, that's a Bach, not me. Let's continue. I'll explain. Gamlis, guys, they also learned in order to be, haughty, arrogant, I know better than you. They did not want to cling and become stronger and better, closer to Hashem with the Ruchnias and Torah, v'chulei. That's why Beis Hamikdash was destroyed. And that's why it says, Al Ozum es Torah si, my Torah. They learned Torah, but they didn't learn my Torah, says Hashem. They learned a book called Talmud, and a book called Chumash, and a book called Shulchan Aruch, and a book called Kilis Yaakov. Very interesting books, believe me. Kilis Yaakov, whoa. It's an amusement park for the mind. The Maharsha, the Chazon Ish, really interesting story. They learned it not for the right reason. And that's why they're not learning Torah C. They're learning a Torah, not my Torah. They're not clinging and connecting to Hashem. And the best way to connect to Hashem is through Torah. Am I telling you now, chas v'sholom, not to learn halacha? Of course, you have to learn Torah in order to know what to do. Obviously, we're functional Jews. We have to know how to function as a businessman, as a parent, as everything, as a teacher, as whatever. We have to learn halacha. I have a halacha seder every day. Trust me, not my longest seder. I have that, and I believe you too. However, if a person learns Torah only in order to use the Torah as a vehicle, how to be Mekayah mitzvahs as a manual, he got somewhere, we're going to see soon, but he's completely topsy-turvy. He's turning around everything, because now I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to prove it to you soon, that Torah versus mitzvahs, well, obviously, you're right, Mr. Brown. They all have to live in one big happy family. You learn Torah, you know how to become the mitzvahs. However, when it comes to essential value, to real value, Torah is number one. Mitzvahs have to be kept in order to be mekayim what we learned in this physical world. I'm going to elaborate now. There are two parts. There's a Gemara in Sanhedrin. Gemara in Sanhedrin, that Gemara will shed beautiful light on what I just said. The Gemara in Sanhedrin, Daf Nun Tes Amud Aleph, says, let me ask you a question. Yeah, Goy. I'm not going to say Goy. Your name's over here. Yeah, a Goy. Yeah, TM. A Goy, is a Goy allowed to learn Torah? Yeah, let's say a Goy, I actually have some people on my YouTube channel. I don't know if they're Jewish or not. They just come to the YouTube channel. I'm not sure. Really, they're very ambiguous names. But whatever. I'm not kicking them out. Can a Goy join our shir? Yes, no. A Goy is allowed to learn Torah? What? You'd say yes, you'd say no. Very good. You're both right, as usual. Two Jews, three opinions. That's the way we are. Very nice. Now, says the Gemara in Sanhedrin, Nuntes, very severe things. The guy who learn Torah is chayav mishe. The guy who studies Torah, kill him. I'm not saying chas v'sholom to do that 2023. I don't want my YouTube channel to be stopped by someone, excommunicated. But conceptually, the Gemara speaks very negatively about a guy who studies Torah. If you listen till the end, it's a really, really beautiful point. It's very nuanced. Why? Says the Gemara, because it's similar, that makes it even worse, it's similar to a person who has an adulterous relationship, a person who has relations with his neighbor's wife. What's the connection? It says, we sing in the kindergarten, yeah, the Torah is Morasha. Morasha means heritage, I know that. Morasha also means Me'orasa. The Torah is engaged to us, and also to Hashem. It's all one. Torah, Kudshabrichu, and us, we're all one unition. We're all one thing. Yeah, the Torah is like married to Klal Yisrael. When a guy who's not Jewish, yeah, if he studies Torah, it's as if he entered someone else's relationship. It's as if he's with someone else's wife. So obviously that's very negative. And a guy should be shunned away from learning Torah. Okay, fine. So Tim McKenzie, Abdul Mahmoud are not, nice guys, are not invited to our Gemara Shir. However, the Gemara later on says Rabbi Meir, I'm quoting, says the Gemara, this is much more politically correct. The Gemara says later that Rabbi Meir says that afilu akum shoisik b'Torah kekohen gadol. A guy who studies Torah is like a kohen gadol. Oh, that's very different, yeah. So the Gemara seems to be uneasy with that very, very stark difference. Is he an adulterer or is he a kohen gadol? Answers the Gemara, easy solution, very easy solution. Answers the Gemara, says the Gemara, because if he only learns the Sheva Mitzvahs B'nai Noach, they have the 7 Noachide laws, yeah, or Noachide laws. They have the 7 Noachide laws, and those 7 laws, they have to learn that. Says Rashi, I was so happy when I saw this Rashi, because that's exactly the point. Says Rashi, listen to this, delicious. The Sheva Mitzvahs did who? They have to learn their 7 laws that they should learn at the Kohen Gadol. Anything else? Yeah, the other 613? No. Oiskin behilchois. Oisen Sheva Mitzvahs liyos bekin bohen. They have to know halacha. A guy who learns the halacha of the Sheva Mitzvahs to be baki and know what to do and not to do. There are many details. What do you mean a guy can't worship over the Zohar? It's an also for the Zohar is. Yeah, a real Noachide, he needs to know what to do and not to do. Each one of the 7 has many, many details that they should learn. There's a website, long shtick Torah, written by Goin about their own mitzvahs, yeah? Oh, but what does it show us? Listen to this. Let's try and be a bit lomdish now. If you tell me that the guy is allowed to learn mitzvahs which are lahalocha, and then he's a kohen gadol, so the other mitzvahs that he's not allowed to learn, what kind of learning is that? Not lahalocha. When I say not lahalocha, don't get upset. I don't mean chas v'shalom, chas v'shalom, chas v'shalom, to learn Hilchas Pesach and then eat chometz and Pesach, chalila. I meant to say learning lishma for the sake of the actual learning. That's what I mean to say. A guy is not allowed to learn anything outside the Sheva Mitzvahs and anything that's not beyond knowing what to do. The guy should treat the Torah as a manual, is knowing what to do. But once he enters the other realm of learning Torah just for the sake of learning, for the intellectual, holy, spiritual pursuit of learning, then he's like an adulterer. What does that mean? That how are we married to Hashem in the Torah? Through what? Through Torah Lishma. Get that? You get the cheshbon? You get what we're calculating here? If the guy is only allowed to stay outside the relationship, we're learning only halacha, meaning learning that's not just for halacha, but for the fun of entering the beautiful, beautiful mikveh called Torah, that is something so special and intimate only for Hashem and us. That means to say that the thing that makes us the closest is what? What's husband and wife closest thing? Intimacy. What is the thing that gets us closest to Hashem? What is that? Torah lishma. Torah to learn in order to learn and get close to Hashem. Would you learn for halacha? Amazing. Obviously. But that shouldn't be your only reason. Don't turn the most intimate moment with Hashem as a way of just knowing how to be a technocrat and know how to keep halacha. It's important to keep halacha. Nobody says otherwise. But to learn the Torah, and excuse me, how many parts of Torah are not halacha? Unfortunately, many. Ben Sarah Moira never ever happened, according to one opinion, right? Irni Dachas never happened. You know how many pages in Sanhedrin, the entire part? Why? What do you mean, why? Of course. Because who cares? The actual learning is the point. Why do you have to sit there with the Chumash and learn for 4 times all the names of the Nisim, and all the names of Reuven, Shimon, Levi, and all the children and grandchildren? Because every word is so holy. I don't care why. The Etzem word, every time you utter a word of Torah, you are one with Hashem. Whether this word is, I don't know, it's Bon and all these names I don't remember of the grandchildren of Reuven, or the words are very holy words of Tehillim, doesn't make a difference. The Torah is all names of Hashem. The Torah itself is holy. You enter a mikveh, you're holy. You're Torah. I don't care if the water, I don't know, if the walls of the mikveh are blue or green. The actual mikveh is Torah. Ma mikveh metar sitmem, because Baruch metar Yisrael. Hashem's rotzain, Hashem's will is the Torah. Still, I'm asking a question. Why is the Torah more than mitzvahs? I told you it's more important, but why? Why? Says one more thing before we get to the crescendo. The brother of the Gra, if you learn his sefer, B'chlal, he goes ballistic about it. The brother of the Gra asks a very strong question. When we sing from childhood till today, you don't have to join me. It's an insult to the Torah. You saying Torah is more than gold? Let's go back to marriage. Remember the bad husband who thinks he's good? Okay, so now they're on the man, they've been to a counselor, and now he compliments her for the food. Yeah? Okay, he learned he has to compliment her for the food. She really works hard to make him something he likes, whatever, steak. And he tells her, you know, that steak, it's better than garbage. What a nice compliment. Much worse. He should have stayed like you were before. How can you compare Torah to gold? Gold is shiny, glimmery. It's nothing. It's Gashmias. Torah is Hashem's mind. Torah is Hashem himself. Torah is the highest thing. And David the Melech Ahavas Shalom, Neim's Meretz Yisrael, is telling me that Torah is more than that thing you dig in South Africa and then your wife wears it over here. Really? That's a comparison? Of course it's better than gold. What kind of a comparison, right? Yikari mipninim. Pearls. I personally don't like pearls so much. I don't know. Doesn't do it to me. Neither do you. I don't know if it's in fashion. So Torah is more than pearls. Thank you. What? Something that doesn't work right. What happens in Olam Haba? Baruch Hashem, we don't have the Muslim version. It's much worse. But our version is what? You see the Gemara in Chagiga. You swim in 13 rivers of parsimon oil. I assume parsimon oil is nice. I hope to get to Gan Eden one day. What's the business? What does it mean? What is all this gosh missing? I learned Torah all my life, and then I'll get to a nice swimming pool of parsimon? Yeah, you can go there to the Galil, to the Golan. You also have these things there. Well, what's the story? Listen to the one strong line here. He says, no. In Shemaim, says the Gross brother, in Shemaim, there are pearls and there's gold. They're spiritual. It's not the gold your wife wears over here, and it's not the schmaltzy, whatever, necklace from pearls. That's not what David Melech is talking about. No, or Shlomo Melech. They talk about spiritual schar in Shamayim that you get for, mark my word, it's not me, it's a Gon's brother, for mitzvahs. Yeah? In other words, you do a mitzvah, tefillin, amazing mitzvahs. How do we understand what mitzvahs are? Tzitzis, tefillin, lulav, sukkah, you name it, kibbud av, aim, keeping your mouth shut, v'chule, all very nice. You get in Shamayim, pearls, gold, not the real one. I mean, the real ones, the spiritual ones. That's the one we're talking about. The schar in Shamayim of all those spiritual yahaloimim, palaces, each tzaddik has a crown on his head, v'chule, and Torah is way above those. The schar of gold and silver and Bitcoin, whatever you have in Shamayim, which is unbelievably, unfathomable, great and endless and amazing. I'm reading inside. So don't be upset with me. It's him. It's not me. I'm reading, I promise you, I cut and paste it from here. Those spiritual pleasures, which we can't begin to understand, Omar, on that said, David and Shlomo, Shekulam Betelim Hema. They are null. They are nothing. Legabe Tanugli with the Torah. They're nothing comparing to learning Torah. Get that? This schar you get in Shamayim for learning Torah is just a whole different level. From the schar, unbelievable schar you get from mitzvahs. It's him, it's not me. That's what's written. Still, the question is why? Don't let me get away with it. Yeah, why? What is really the difference between performing mitzvahs or learning Torah just in order to use the Torah as a manual, and actually learning Torah for the sake of learning Torah and connecting to Hashem? The difference is like this. I thought actually in a sefer that was written today, I saw so much on the stuff, I wanted to condense it in like one paragraph. It's a sefer called Or David, yeah, and after reading a lot of material, he summarizes it in one beautiful, strong line. Sorry, it's somebody who lives today, but the style, I don't remember the name, I'm sorry, I found it in the Oitzar. Mekai mitzvahs, miskarev laHashem. The one who's Mekai mitzvahs gets close to Hashem, and that's amazing, that's unbelievable. Achaloim Torah, misachedim Hashem. The one who learns Torah is one with Hashem. You Mekai mitzvahs, you get close to Hashem. Whoa. But if you learn Torah, you are one with Hashem. I don't know what that means. Your neshama is connecting to Hashem. You're one with Hashem. You one, same house, same thing. You know why? I'll tell you why. It's actually quite simple. Imagine yourself, you have two friends. Okay? One friend, actually, I have such friends too. We may imagine yourself a bunch of good friends you have. I hope you have good friends. You're all nice people over here. One friend is a nice guy, and he always helps you. Yeah, whenever you need help, that's amazing. That's really amazing. Yeah. He helps you. You ask him, can you please do me a favor and, I don't know, pick my child from Gan? Can you please help me, I don't know, do something? Someone is in the hospital. It's really amazing that he's always there to help you, or whenever he can. Wow, it's amazing. But that guy, you can't have your conversations with him are extremely short and absolutely boring because you're not in the same wavelength. If you don't have anything in common. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You know, he wants to talk about politics. He wants to talk about sports. You want to talk about Torah. He wants to talk about the King of England. You're different wavelengths. So this friendship is that you like the guy, and because he's really nice, you're not the same wavelength. You're not the same mindset at all. Then you have another guy who's also very helpful, but that guy is a schmucky guy. You can schmooze with him. I shouldn't promote Bittul Torah over here in this schmooze, yeah? You can schmooze with him for hours and you feel, whoa, that guy and we think exactly the same. We can even argue, but it's geschmack arguing. We are so much alike in the way we think. Our minds are so similar. We became friends so fast when I saw him, such a geschmacky guy. We always in the same sense of humor. He understands my jokes and I understand him. And he's also helpful. Way better, right? That's one who learns Torah. Mitzvahs relate to Hashem's, whatever that means. It's not me saying these scary things. They relate to Hashem's body. Hashem has no body, but in comparison. And the Torah is Hashem's mind. The Torah is Hashem's mindset. When you learn Torah, it may be the most kivyachol boring thing about Saras. It's another sugya in Bava Metzia about interest, v'chulei. Those things are the way Hashem thinks. You're entering Hashem's seichel. You are one with Hashem's mind. If you really believe in it and understand what that means, that's it. So now you're taking this and you learn only to become mitzvahs. It's important to become mitzvahs and know the halacha, no zilzul. But you can't take that and say, I only connect to him in order to do the technical thing. I'll give you another mashal. I'll give you another mashal because I don't know if I'm clear enough. A very, very famous and very clear mashal that can stay with you. It says very before a clear pasuk, kiner mitzvah v'toira o. Yeah, the Maral says, I think more than two people say that. I think I saw it in the Maral, I saw it in many places. Kiner mitzvah v'toira o. Yeah, imagine yourself the candles, you know the candles from the times of the Gemara, the Aladdin lamps, you know, there's oil, right? You're not allowed to tilt it on Shabbos, right? Yeah, we also have like, you know, glass things that we light the oil, and then there's the flickering thing, the flame. Oh, ner mitzvah v'toira or. Meaning, the nail, the candle, the receptacle that holds the oil is like the mitzvahs. The Torah, or the light, is like the Torah. That exemplifies everything very, very clearly. You have to be Mekayim mitzvahs. Why? Because you have to have a candle. If you didn't have a candle, if I didn't have those glass holders, then all the oil would spill, no light. But excuse me, if I only have the candle and I don't have the flame, the room will be dark. And my wife will not be kind of the mitzvah. Obviously, the essential importance, right, is what? Is the light. Obviously, that is Torah mitzvahs. You don't have the light in order to have the candle. You don't have the flame in order to have the holder, obviously. You have to have the holder because we live in a physical world and we have to be mekayim and fulfill and exercise the what? And actualize Hashem's will in this earthly world. But of course, the real importance is the light, is the mind, is the mindset, is the spiritual part of everything, and that is only Torah. So next time, shall we get practical? Next time, I'm asking people here, whichever shir you go to, I'm not talking about my shir, in general. You have a Torah shir that you go to every day, or once a week, or once in 2 days, and you need to do something else instead of the shir, think twice. Is that thing that I have to do is really something I have to do that's actually worth missing an appointment with the Kodesh Baruch Hu himself and entering Hashem's mind? Is it really, really worth it? If yes, do it. But is it really, think twice and 3 times and 4 times? Yeah, you know this thing? Yeah, that is very helpful. Do you really, really have to pick up that phone call in the middle of learning the Chavrusa? Is this like your wife, Chas v'Shalom, telling you the kid is in an ambulance? Is Bibi Netanyahu really looking for your advice right now? Or maybe Joe Biden? Who is that? Putin's on the phone. That's right. You really have to stop listening to the words of the mind of Melech, Malchei, Amalachim in the middle of learning. And learning is being in this amazing, unbelievable situation of being connected to Hashem. And that, which phone call is more important than that? Asking a question. I'm also at fault. I'm not giving Musar. Yeah, I take it to Seder. My wife knows never to call me. That's all. she's a tzaddik. It's not me. I'm saying, but Lemaisa, think. You're entering, when you come to learn, have in mind, I'm connecting now to the most unbelievable, superior state a human being can ever get to. And then the rest will happen. May we be zoiche, of course, to be Mekayim Torah and mitzvahs, no question, nobody's fighting here. But when it comes to the real essential chashivus, what I told you now is really a drop in the sea. Now that I know everything, I've seen a lot, they all say the same thing. The essential importance is of Torah. The Talmud Torah, keneged kulam. This is what we say every morning after Birkas Torah. And Mirz Hashem will have good marriages with the Torah and the Kodesh Baruch Hu and our wives. And Be'ezus Hashem, everything will be good. And I really, really hope that the connection with Hashem will reunite. The Beis HaMikdash was connecting to Hashem through our Torah. Beis HaMikdash will be built. Beis HaMikdash was destroyed. Hey, oops, I forgot. Got so excited. I didn't answer my question. What happened here? I asked you a question. I asked myself a question. How come you're telling me that the reason why Beis HaMikdash was destroyed is what? Because they didn't consider Torah so important. They did through Gimel Averos Chamuros. They were into much, much worse things. The answer is very simple. I don't know who built the Burj Khalifa. The question is, why was Beis HaMikdash destroyed? There are 2 Gemaras in 2 different places. One of them said because they didn't care enough about Torah. They were good and frum, but they didn't really consider it important enough. The other one says because they were involved in the 3 cardinal sins. Okay. The answer is very simple. You build a tower. You build a very tall tower. Yeah, you know about building more than me. I think that if in the bottom, in the very, very base, in the very basic foundation under the ground, there is something missing, something distorted, the distortion is, let's say, 1 centimeter, up there, it's going to be, right? Very, very hazardous. Because of that very, very nuanced ashkafa, that very nuanced mistake, we're learning and we're davening, we're good, but we somehow have it twisted. We don't care about Torah means we don't really, really care about Hashem. We care about exteriors and we're in Koilen and we're frum and the wife has a shaitel and all very nice. But if we're not really connected to Hashem, i.e., real kirvas elokem through Torah, eventually, later on, we may come to the worst sins. One is the result of the other. And to be positive, I'll finish and I'll say, the more we're connected to Torah, the more we will be good all around, and we'll be able to build Beis HaMikdash and bring Mashiach. Thank you very, very much.